Welcome to the channel, viewers. Dr. JW Ayub, theologist. Welcome to the series, Who is Ruling Australia? Behavioural Political Analysis, Episode 1, When the Country Started Feeling Emotionally Distant. The series begins where many Australians already quietly live internally, between official reassurances and private exhaustion. And this episode examines the growing emotional distance between ordinary Australians and the systems governing them. The shift did not arrive suddenly, viewers, not through one election, not one government, not one crisis. It ended slowly. The traffic still crawls across the motorways before sunrise. Politicians still stand behind podiums speaking carefully about resilience and stability and policies. Supermarkets remain brightly lit while people silently calculate what stays in the trolley and what quietly returns to the shelf. Australia still functions publicly, but many Australians no longer feel emotionally carried by the systems directing that movement. Viewers, the pressure spreading across Australia is no longer merely economic. It's behavioural, emotional, existential. And people increasingly adapt to contradiction, uncertainty, institutional distance, and emotional management language, while quietly carrying pressures heavier privately than publicly acknowledged. And populations rarely disconnect all at once. Most detach slowly first. Teaching point number 1. A young couple sits silently inside a car park before grocery shopping. One checks the banking app again, the other rewrites the mental budget already revised 3 times this week. Outside, advertisements still speak the language of prosperity. Inside the car, survival mathematics quietly replaces optimism. You absorb the pressure, vigilance, fatigue, withdrawal. You suppress instability, numbing, irritability, mental compression. You continue adapting, exhaustion, distance, and quiet resentment. And populations begin emotionally detaching when reassurance repeatedly collides with lived strain. Teaching point number 2, viewers. The deeper shift begins when people stop trusting the atmosphere surrounding the language itself. The statement says conditions are stabilising. The household still feels tighter. Leadership speaks calmly about transition while ordinary Australians increasingly feel suspended inside uncertainty without emotional footing underneath them. The ceiling fan hums above, another late night kitchen conversation about repayments, and nobody raises their voice anymore. And that almost feels worse. You hear stability, doubt, confusion, emotional distance. You observe contradiction, cynicism, adaptation, and internal withdrawal, and normalise pressure, hypervigilance, fatigue, and existential drift. Yet, trust erodes quietly once populations emotionally separate institutional language from lived reality. Teaching point number 3. The greatest danger is not outrage, it is exhaustion. A tradesman delays medical treatment again. A mother quietly skips meals so the children do not notice the tightening finances. A father stares longer at the floor after opening another electrical bill. The nation continues functioning publicly while many people slowly contract internally beneath accumulating pressure. And you carry uncertainty daily, which is stress, restlessness, and overload. You lose predictability, anxiety and frustration and internal stability. And you stop feeling represented and you feel detached, withdrawn, and quiet despair. And viewers, nations weaken internally when ordinary people begin surviving systems they no longer feel emotionally connected to. So let's reflect. At what point did ordinary life start feeling emotionally heavier for so many Australians? Let's do a resistance check. Have you adapted to pressure so long that exhaustion now feels ordinary? Do official explanations increasingly feel emotionally disconnected from daily reality? Have you started withdrawing internally while still functioning externally? Well, let's look at some root causes. Is Australia only carrying economic strain? Or is the country entering a deeper crisis of emotional trust, institutional legitimacy, and existential fatigue beneath prolonged instability? Well, let's have a look at some immediate action. Observe institutional behaviour more carefully than institutional language this week. Watch for contradiction, responsibility transfer, emotional management phrasing, inconsistency between reassurance and lived consequence. And here's where you can have a look. News cycles, workplace conversations, household financial discussions, and political commentary. Here's a proverb, viewers. A nation grows fragile when its people continue functioning publicly while quietly disconnecting internally. In closing, the deeper danger arrives when emotional exhaustion quietly becomes the normal atmosphere surrounding ordinary life. I'm Dr. JWAU. Like and subscribe, share to help somebody, comment to educate me. I'll see you in the next episode, The Illusion of Choice.